Hey everyone, happy holidays. Today we're going to be doing a collaboration, which is actually my first one ever on this channel, and it's with Samsally Underorange, and I'm honestly so grateful for her to agreeing to doing this collaboration. I have been watching her videos for a while, since before I even got my own smart doll. I admire her work and everything she does so much. You guys have no idea. I'm so happy she agreed to do this. And we're collaborating. I have no idea what she's doing. We just decided on a theme, and we decided that it's going to be winter themed or holiday themed, like Christmassy or however you interpret that, and that's what we're going with. I have no idea what she's doing. She doesn't know what I'm doing. We don't know what colors we're using. We don't know anything. So I'm just as excited to see what she comes up with, once the video releases, and it's going to be a surprise for both of us. So as you can see right here, I'm showing you her videos, her channel, so if you want to check it out, so you can know you're on the right place. She will be linked below as well, so we'll have that, so don't worry, she'll be linked below, and I'll have the video and her profile both linked below. So please, please, please check her out, go on her channel, leave her likes, subscribe, see what she's about. So yeah, so before anything, I just want to thank you again. Samsally, honestly, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I'm excited to see what you come up with. It's going to be so fun. I just can't wait. Okay, so what I wanted to do at first was a fitted dress and some sort of gathered skirt, draped on it somewhere, or I don't know, some sort of length. I wanted to do a silky look that was a bit formal, but a bit more on the higher end of fashion. That's kind of what I was going for. Let's see. We'll find out at the end if I achieve that. But right here, I marked all my darts with some threads and cut a 3x gather circle skirt. So it's the measurement of the waist multiplied times 3, and then you just make a circle based on that. I do have a video on how to do that, and then I did a lining in chiffon. And then this piece, ignore that, the little leather, I ended up not using it. I didn't like how it looked with the little silky fabric, the satin, so I left it out. This white dress you see on the smart doll at the moment right now is the test run I did on the pattern, and I didn't want to waste it, and I didn't want to just not use it, so I made it into a little bow dress, which was the first idea I had at first, but I don't know, it just felt a little lackluster, and I feel like it's been done a lot recently. So I didn't go with that, and I just kept it on her for a while I was making that dress, the actual one. So at this point, I'm going to sew the darts on the lining and the silk, I mean not the silk, the satin, so I'll be back once I finish that. After finishing the darts, I went ahead and sewed the side seams on both the fashion fabric and the lining. So whatever we did to one, we're doing to the other. They're supposed to be exactly the same. They're just gonna be two sides of each other. So that's probably way more confusing than it needs to be, but y'all get what I mean. So at this point, you have to go ahead and match up the right sides together and sew all around, leaving out. I mean, you could sew the hem as well at this point, and then just turn it inside out at the top. But I'd rather, what you call it? I'd rather overlock the hem and then just fold it over and slip stitch it myself by hand. But you know, some people like to enclose the hem and then seal it up at the top or the side. So it's however you like to. It's very subjective to whatever method you choose. So at this point, I did the top and the sides. The two sides seem to left the bottom like untouched. Then I'm gonna go ahead and serge it, and then, like I said, hem it by hand with the slip stitch, only grabbing onto the lining, and that way the stitching won't show on the good side of the dress, the right side. Alright, so at this point we're all done sewing, well, hemming the dress, so let's finish it up with a few knots, and we're gonna start actually sewing it shut. We're gonna leave it, we won't go all the way up like normally, like on normal people, not normal people, like on people's clothes, because Smartos have like a little hole in their back, like on their lower back, where you could like put a stand in that helps them kind of like stand up. So we're gonna leave space for that, and from the top up, we're just gonna use hooks and eyes to close everything together. So let's do that. this point, I'm just messing around with the little skirt and just seeing how I'm gonna want it, whether pleated or gathered or, you know, whatever. But before I do that, need to go around the edges with the lighter just to seal off any of the little fibers from fraying and, you know, just messing up. So this method I'm just doing on the video is kind of not the best way. I realized later, holding the flame kind of burns too much and it makes it uneven. So if you just kind of click it or quickly flash the fire onto the edge, it'll do just fine and it won't overdo it. It'll be perfect. So just do that. Don't do what I did in my video. So after that, I'm gonna go ahead and flip it right sides in or inside out and just hem the top. Just seal it up. That way we have a nice finish at the top when we gather and drape it onto the body. So, given that I have just purchased like a snap applying tool, I was like a little gun-ho about using it, so I went ahead and used that in order to attach the skirt and have it be removable instead of having to add another seam or stitch it on in a way that could possibly get like make it difficult for the doll to put on the dress and take it off. So with this, we could use like if you taken it in the back, you could use it to kind of cinch the waist once it's on. So it'll kind of tug from like both snaps. And then just make sure that the waist is like really like snatched. So like it really pulls on it. So right here I'm just putting one snap on the inside so it doesn't show on the outside. That's why we did it double-sided. And then on the dress right next to the fisheye darts. Right at the bottom. Even though I'm pretty sure I did one a little higher, but I was just really nervous and it's not worth taking it off and tugging the fabric and snagging it or, you know, ripping it up, and it's just not worth it. Just leave it how it is. So there it is. You can barely even tell. Look at it. So pretty. I just love the luster of this fabric, y'all. Like, what do y'all think? Leave a like and comment below what you think about the fabric, because I love it. So that's all I'm gonna say. So now we're just trying it on. And I noticed that it's still very loose at the bust, so this is where I decide to add a dart. I mean, an extra dart, yeah, at the center front. I just fold the fabric over a little bit, and then I add an eyelet in order to add some like glittery thread to secure the dress and help it like hold up while the doll is wearing it. So that will be coming up right in a bit. So I went ahead and made the little thread I'm going to be using to support the dress around the neck, and I added the little dart by putting it on and very carefully pinning the clothing, like not the clothing, the dart, and taking it off, and then hand sewing it shut myself with a slip stitch, and adding a few eyelets. I added 3 just to be sure, because the first one I added was a little bit off, to be honest, but then ended up being pretty perfect because it ended up they were aligned perfectly in 3. So it's confusing, but don't worry about it. I'm only using the middle one, so that's fine. So that's what I did, and I really secured it with the stitching. So it needs to support the tugging and pulling of the neck and the movement and the bust being like tugged on, so it can like hold up and not like slip down. So just make sure you really secure the stitches when doing this. And here's a sneak peek at the coat we're about to do. So quick tips on dealing with this type of fur or fur in general, always keep in mind the grain, the direction in which the fur falls before you're cutting and while you're doing your pattern placement. Scissors, and I go into all the way through up to like the base fabric, the knit or whatever, the pile weave. I could really get in there and cut the fabric without damaging the fur and like ending up with any awkward cuts or anything. So, and it really saves you a lot of fur. Like it's inevitable, you will get fur on yourself, but it saves you a lot more clean time because it just reduces the amount of fur you're cutting, and it's just better for me this way. So at this point, I'm just doing like a little curved stitch, kind of angled. I don't know the name for this one. It's slipping my mind at the moment, but that's what I did. And for the underarm seams, the side seams, the side underarm seams to be exact, I ended up doing a blanket stitch just to make it more secure. And I don't know, I just felt like it would be better than just doing the little diagonal stitch, which I'm pretty sure I have a video on here, and I should know that, but excuse that. So before you start sewing, always make sure to tuck the fur in whatever direction it's laying. That way it doesn't get caught in the seam and it doesn't look awkward once you flip it over. And if you do it correctly, honestly, it'll look seamless. Like you won't be able to see anything. The fur will just mend, like not mend, but like kind of cross into each other and hide the seam. It'll look like one whole cohesive piece, and that's basically the goal in my opinion. So here it is, all sewn by hand, and we're moving on to the lining at this point. So with the lining, I will be using my machine just because I really want it sewn on at the top, and I just don't want I feel like it would take too long if I do a slip stitch, and on top of that, I don't think it'll be as secured as if I top stitch with the machine. Not top stitch, but like stitch it, sew it with the machine. It'll just be a lot more secured. I will end up slip stitching the hem shut, but that's gonna come up in a bit, so hope you guys enjoy. I just want to take a moment to thank you guys. If you guys stuck around and actually watched all of this, like wow, thank you. Please don't forget to leave a like, a comment, or subscribe even if you really enjoy this content and want to see more. It really helps the channel. A simple like or a comment like really throws us out there in the algorithm and really helps us get across to more people and find new viewers and people who want to be part of this community and love to sew and want to learn and want to share their work as well. So please, and also go and check out Samsally. Like please give her likes, subscribes, check her out. Her work is amazing. I promise you guys will not be disappointed. So once again, thank you guys for sticking around. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and let's get this photo shoot started.